Fáilte and welcome again to Fireside Sounds with myself, Marian, Shanley West. It's another exciting week and I have a great show lined up with you indeed. Very lucky to have a man in studio with me who is a bit of a guru in the photography stakes in the celebrity and music arena in Ireland, and I'd like to welcome Mr. David Doyle. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me on.
Did I build you up enough there?
Yeah.
Is that good enough? How are you getting on?
I've been quite busy.
What are you doing at the moment? Tell me all about yourself.
I recently just started work on the Comic Relief as one of the official photographers. Just finished up one of the press releases with all the bands like the Key West, Paddy Casey, a few UK comedians as well. I was over, and I just recently shot a band from Wales called Joy Formable, and I'm in Vicar Street tomorrow night with Pat Byrne.
Brilliant. So for somebody of that background that you have, say for example, did you have photography to start off with, or how did you get to being a photographer?
It was, at first it was just a hobby, and I kind of built up from there, and I got a lot of advice from different kind of old school photographers around the country and in the UK, just kind of advice, and then I kind of just pushed myself further and further to prove that I can do it, and just ever since then I kind of got my breaks and I stayed there, and that was it, and tried my best. And
do you think that it's a hard area to work in?
It is, yeah. There's a lot of competition. Everyone kind of thinks because I'm there, I'm in the right place now. I'm always going to get the best gigs. I don't. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people in the industry a lot longer than me.
Yeah.
I've showed that I kind of determination. I can prove that my work is as good as everyone else's, and still I work smaller venues, and when I get my break in the bigger venues, I still go for it. And
because you're 2 years in the industry.
Yeah.
But my God, Dave, you've achieved so much, haven't you really, as well? I mean, hold on, I think we'll go to a clip here. Let's look at one of the pictures you've done, and it's the script. We'll have a nice... So, tell me a bit about this. How did you even get involved in something like this? The script are like massive.
It was the Cheerios Childline concert that just went on in December. That was filmed for TV3, and I got a call then, got an email just 3 days before the concert, just saying I got accepted for a pass, and it was just like a bit of a dream come true, considering the Script are one of my favourite all-time Irish bands, and they're on. I had a list to finish last year, was either the O2 or the Script, and to get the Script and the O2 at the same stage, you're just like, okay.
Early Christmas present, wasn't it? So we've another nice picture as well. Let's move on to, I think it's Key West, is it? Now, have a look. What's that about?
That's one of my proudest career moments, was joining Key West on stage with sold out Marquee in Cork. I went on tour with Key West last summer. I was on a week on the road with them, and we started off in the Irish and Nuke Drawn with playing in front of the president, and I got to meet the president at the time and get a picture with him and have a shake hands. But then I went on, then we went to Cork then for 2 days with Ollie Moores, and from Cork then we done this radio thing in Dublin, and met a couple of people that kind of knew me work at one stage, and then we flew over to Luton, and I found out I was shooting Key West, Lawson. At the time Lawson just opened for Westlife, and they're like that one of those bands you're kind of go, okay, they must be good. And I found out I was allowed to shoot The Wanted, and for me, not a fan of pop music, but The Wanted are that big thing. Like, I know that girls and people that are into them, and I kind of went, that was a big thing for me to shoot my first gig, and to shoot one of the main pop bands out at the moment, bar One Direction, but they're on my list at the moment to get a few pictures of as well.
And then, not just content with doing all of those guys, you came back to the Irish Boys again, and you have the original Root Boys shot as well?
That's good. I actually finished last year working with the original Root Boys. I know the guys pretty well. I've worked with them a while ago before, and I kept in touch with them. They asked me to do their academy gigs, which was a good bit of fun. Jordan, it was kind of funny, and I was only meant to choose 3 songs, but they'd asked me to go up to the balcony near the end of the concert they turned off all the lights, and the guys got everyone out with their mobile phones and just lit up the whole venue.
Wow.
And now I wish them all the best. They're on the tour with the Script at the moment, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that was another gig that was a high point as well for me, because the lads have been doing so well, and we're kind of similar in one sense, because they've started off really small, and all of a sudden they're out there and
they're doing very well, aren't they? Really, as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and go on the Irish, of course. So listen, we have another clip here. We're going to have a look and see who else we have on. Let's have a nice picture. I think we're going to go. I think it's B.O.B. Yeah.
It's B.O.B. Yeah.
How did you find shooting that, for example? Look at the light in that. Was that you? Was that
was the lighting from the venue itself, the lighting he had. I wouldn't know too much about B.O.B., but before the gig I I realised who he'd worked with, like Bruno Mars. He's just one of those acts you're kind of going, oh, he's done it all. Yeah. I actually met him before the gig up in the back here. Like, people have seen me picture on Facebook, and everyone's saying how jealous they are because I got to meet this guy, and he's just a normal guy.
Cool guy.
Like, everyone else is just, they are maybe a celebrity, but they are normal people. Like, I don't get the whole starstruck and...
Yeah, and have you ever come across anything unusual? I know they get their bowls of Skittles and their drinks. Nothing ever too exciting. I think they're fairly normal, are they?
Not never too exciting. Like, Key West had the usual kind of few beers and they had the sweets and stuff, but when you're on the road, you eat all pretty quickly.
But they don't get tea and buns, do they?
I don't know. No, I think it's the usual Carlsberg or whatever cheap drink they have. Like, that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Well, listen, tell me more about Red Nose Tea. Tell me all about that. Comic
Relief, I'll show the poster here. It's on the 28th of February and it's a great lineup.
We'll see if we can get a shot on this one. It's a bit crumpled, but sure, look. That's a well-travelled poster. Go on ahead, tell me more about this.
It's on the 20th of February. Tickets are only €18. It's a great lineup, like the Key West, the Enemies, Joel Dama walking on cars. There's Paddy Casey, and there's a load of surprises, which I can't say.
Okay.
But trust me, if you are in Dublin on the 28th, I'd recommend going to this. It's cheap tickets, and you're in for a very good night. You're going to see a lot more on my page and on their page. Check them out. It's Comic Relief does Dublin 23rd. Just watch on the page. There's going to be a lot being done over the next couple of weeks. And
how can anybody see your pictures? What's your site?
If you go on to David Doyle Photography on Facebook.
Okay, David Doyle Photography.
Or you can get me on Twitter on ddp.com.
Okay. Listen here, I hear you have a few fans across the world. We're not just talking Dublin here.
No, it's...
You were tweeted. The script picture, I remember seeing something about you being tweeted. Where was it?
It was actually in Brazil and Portugal, Indonesia as well. Were tweeting the script and tweeting to me and saying how good my work is. And then it was weird, only a few weeks ago then I'd seen people... I woke up one morning, I was checking my tweets, and people actually tweeted the official Danny page and the official Tifskin. You should get him for the Dublin concerts, and he's amazing, he's a nice guy. And it's kind of weird going from shooting in a pub to 2 years later. Like, as I said the other day, it's not luck, it's literally I've worked my butt off for the last 2 years straight, and I'm going to continue going on. I have so much planned for this year. Like,
any little teasing tasters about what's happening for the year? Any insights there, David? Come on.
This year I just want to work on a book and bring out a photography book, and I also want to bring out some calendars for next year, and I'm going to tour exhibitions, hopefully summertime.
Okay, brilliant.
And I'm also working with a magician in Limerick.
Stephen Spade O'Mara, I've heard of you. Mr. Irish Dynamo. In fact, we shouldn't compare, but I know you're good.
He's a bit like Houdini at one stage.
Houdini, that's good. He set himself on fire at one stage, didn't he?
Yeah, we did this weird trick stunt in Limerick in King John's Castle, and he was tied up and they set on fire, and all of a sudden was up the very top of the castle then.
So listen, you're hanging out with fairly up there people as well, are you?
Kind of, yeah. It's not all the time. Like, it's as everyone thinks. I meet every artist. I don't. There's only certain ones like the Key West I'd meet, and because I've worked on near enough their photographer at this stage, like.
Yeah. And as you say, they're just like everybody else, really.
Yeah, they're just
with great
guys,
talent,
like,
obviously.
They're good guys, and if you are in Dublin on Grafton Street, check them out. And you ever see them, just watch them. You'll see the crowd. When you see a big crowd on Grafton Street, you know that's Key West on busking.
Brilliant. So, if you had a band that's your next pick of who you'd like to shoot, who would it be?
As from a rock fan, I'd love to shoot AC/DC.
Wow.
Or
old school, huh?
Like that. Or even the Who are coming over. But to be honest, I actually missed the chance I was in Cork to shoot Ollie Morris because it was very strict on the amount of photographers. I was a good few, so hopefully he's coming over in March or April, and fingers crossed. I'd love to get a couple of shots of him. He's a nice guy. I met him when I was in Cork, and he was an amazing performer. So it'd be nice to get a couple of bits of him. And
I have a feeling we'll see you taking those shots yet. So anybody who's watching, just tune in or actually go to his page. It's Dave Doyle Photography. I really think you're a star, and I'm delighted to have you in studio tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much for coming. And don't forget Comic Relief, guys. And get out there, support it, and put your hands in your pockets. Obviously, it's a very good cause. And for everybody around the world, would you like to say hello to your friends? Where's the furthest point on the planet right now?
I got a message just before I went on from America, which is kind of odd. Just some girl in America.
Say hi, America.
Hello.
Hi, America. Okay. Thank you so much, David. Yeah. I think it's been a pleasure having you in the studio, and I think we're just going to go to a little ad break now.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Gavin Duffy, and I'm saying watch cavintv.com. It's a great opportunity to see some great programs, and you can watch it all around the globe via the internet and on many platforms. I watch it myself. Great stuff.
welcome back indeed. That was fabulous, David Doyle, and I'm delighted to have in studio with me somebody extremely interesting altogether, Mr. Mike Broe. You're very welcome indeed.
Hi, Marian. Thank you very much. I'm welcome, and thank you very much for...
How was your drive from Dublin?
It was a long drive, but I tell you, it was worth it to get here on this show. So
look,
thank you very much.
Tea. Are you having tea?
I can't believe you had the hospitality.
I know. And we have buns and everything.
Tea and cakes and everything else, and they're actually real. Fantastic.
It is. Homemade. You know something? I'm glad you said that, because I actually want to say a little hi to all the women and all the workers there and all the helpers at, it was Positive Age, and they did a little fundraiser there, and we got some lovely homemade buns and cakes. I just want to give them credit. They did really well, and it was a lovely time as well. And that's based here in Cavan as well. So listen, you're a jack of all trades when it comes to everything. My God, a producer, a director, a manager. Next you're going to tell me you're a dancer or something as well.
No, that's where I stop.
Is that where you stop?
It is where I stop. You know,
how did you start? Where did it all start, really, for you?
Well, years ago, when I first started in RT, what was it, as a producer-director, but prior to that I started as a production assistant as well. And the thing is, I've always kind of loved music and everything else, so it's always been in my kind of bones. And my parents, especially my grandparents, were great fiddle players, and they would have played with the Dubliners and stuff like that, had sessions in my grandparents' house. So there's always that kind of music in my blood. You know, like, anyway. Yeah. And one of my grandparents, Anne Wilson, is from Gowna. Was an Arva here in Cavan. So
there you go.
Not too far. So there's a bit of Cavan blood in me somewhere along the line, anyway. But the thing is, so I've always had an interest in that respect. And then, kind of as the years kind of progressed, and I worked in different programs, I would have worked on 2TV with Dave Fanning. And I would have met all the kind of the record labels at that stage, within all the stars, Connie Minogue and the usual, Robbie Williams and everything else.
Well, your list is a who's who, isn't it?
It is. I've certainly worked with quite a few in that respect, anyway, and it's been a great honour and a great privilege in that respect. But I've always had the interest, so always there. So in the last couple of years, I've kind of noticed there's been a slight kind of change where a lot of the up-and-coming Irish acts weren't getting a chance to get their music aired and stuff like that. And I felt it just wasn't getting to certain, radio stations and on the TV. So I just started getting, my own kind of interest started to develop back into the music in that respect. So I kind of went about trying to do a pilot programme called Live Next Door, and I shot in my house. And the whole idea was, the concept was to give a platform for up-and-coming musicians, a chance for their music to be heard, you know what I mean? Yeah. To a different media, and in that respect. So, and that's, so really from that, it just kept developing and developing. And there last year then, I was looking after, for the RT Big Music Week, we ran a kind of a goal event in 4 Dame Lane, which was a great success. And we got over 50,000 hits, so it was fantastic. Wow. And what we did was, we had 7 bands on and 3 artists, and they got a chance to perform and stuff like that. And
they're unsigned?
Unsigned,
right.
All their own music, which was fantastic.
Fabulous.
And it was a great night and a great success, and it went out on radio. And then, because of the amount of hits that we got, they decided to put it out again in that respect. And then I kind of got approached with people I've worked with in the music industry over the years, from Warner and Sony and stuff like that, and they were saying to me, there's quite a few bands out there and they need to be looked after and managed, and you have great experience, and just would you, and stuff like that. And really from that then, I took on then manager of a few different bands in that respect. And each of these 3 bands, Better First Matrix, who you're going to meet tonight, are absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
What's at the Scenes from Kilkenny, another indie rock band,
Scenes.
making a big name for themselves at the moment. And also we have Third Smoke from Dundalk, who you'll meet at some stage, you know what I mean? But they're all great music, and in their own right, they're in a class of their own. And hopefully over the next coming months, you'll hear this through their songs and on videos on YouTube, and at some of the gigs that we're setting up for around the country.
Brilliant. Well, listen, they have a great man behind them. That's the first thing I'm going to say. My God. It's really refreshing to hear your enthusiasm, because I do think you're so right. The industry needs a voice, and they need people who are able to help, because there's a big step from being a musician to actually putting yourself out there as well. And there's not that much support when you do look around.
Absolutely.
I think what you're doing is admirable. I think it's a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah.
So, you were saying there as well, I mean, you kind of went into what you do for other people, but I also see that, you're a producer and director in your own right, and you're very proficient in RTE.
Absolutely,
so you've done
definitely.
amazing
I've done
things.
a few bits. I've done a documentary with Boys On Behaving Badly, and I've worked with Robbie Williams and stuff like that, and Wet, and I used to do stuff on the Irma Awards and stuff like that. So I've always been involved with artists and musicians over the years and stuff like that, and over the kind of the 3 years I would have directed 2TV, which was a video program that went out on RT and 2FM on a Sunday, and that was a big kind of a rating of a programme where we used to have a lot of guests in who were kind of big in the charts at that time in the UK and in Ireland in that respect. So that always gave me that big kind of introduction to what was happening out there in that respect.
So you had the music in the heart to start off with,
heart,
genetically, you see.
Exactly.
And then you took the interest, you put yourself in a position of power so you could help people.
Exactly, that's the whole, absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking away, that was it. And like over the years, and there are loads of people, it's not just me, there are loads of people out there who are behind the scenes and stuff like that, you know. And even when kind of I worked on the Den with Dustin and Damon and Jerry May and stuff, we used to invite a lot of the Irish bands in on a Friday and give them a chance to play and stuff like that. So there's always been something happening with other people, and we've always been out there trying to improve that thing for them as well. And there's a great thing, well, I have a chance to say it as well, there's a great thing called the Songwriters Club here in Dublin with Sinead McNally and Keith McLaughlin who started it, and it really gives a background to bands and artists starting up, how to go about setting up, whether it's kind of a cover for your album, how to network within the record industry, about gigging and stuff like that. So different things. They touch base on a lot of stuff every time at this meeting, and it's a fabulous introduction, and it just gives you a little bit more knowledge regarding when you're setting up as an artist or in a band what to do.
That's
the problem.
People
need to know in that respect.
They need mentors. I think people in the industry,
so
you need
important.
like a grandfather or an uncle or somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Absolutely. And you're a manager of a band yourself.
I am indeed.
So Mars, you know that. You only know so well.
I get where you're coming from, because I think there's this secret little holistic network of people that are there. And if you look, you'll find them.
Absolutely.
And that's the key, you have to look for
I
them.
think the main thing is that if you have a passion, you want people to succeed, anyway.
Yeah.
And along the way you learn stuff as well, and it's so important to pass that on to the next generation, otherwise it's gone and it's lost. But if you have a passion, you always have an interest in new music, new bands, new artists, and it's so important to encourage them and be there for them on their leg of their journey, and hopefully you're part of it on the way.
Well, listen here, I just think that's an amazing philosophy, and I agree with it totally. That's the first thing I say. And I wish we had more people like you around for people in the industry. But we're going to go and we're going to have a little look at Ed Sheeran, and then I'll come back to you and again and talk about that.
White lips, pale face, breathing in snowflakes, burnt lungs, sour taste. Lights gone, days end, struggling to pay rent, long nights, strange men. And they say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they scream the worst things in life come free to us, 'cause she's just under the upper hand and goes mad for a couple grams. And she don't wanna go outside tonight, 'cause in the pipe she'll fly to the motherland and sell love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly, for angels to fly now. Ripped gloves.
And that was Ed Sheeran. Was that the Electric Picnic there?
It was, yeah. I had the pleasure of being down there directing an Electric Picnic and doing cameraman as well, which was fantastic. So I had a great opportunity to meet some of the big acts who were performing down there at Electric Picnic. So Ed Sheeran came in to the 2FM Roadcaster, and they were asking me to do a piece with him and stuff like that. So he performed a song, and then I asked him would he perform a second song. And like, Ed Sheeran is so big and so famous, and also I'm a big fan of his as well in that respect anyway. But he's an absolute gentleman, and an incredible musician and stuff like that. And he just takes up the guitar and he just performs, and you can see why he's a star.
Wow. Well, listen, I love your passion and your energy towards everything you do. I wish I had more in the studio with you. I wish we had more time. But you know what we're going to do? I'm just going to say a quick thank you. I appreciate you coming in tonight.
It's a pleasure.
And we're going to actually cut to something you did for the young scientists.
Oh, right. Okay. They're
and
last
we'll
month, which is great.
And I hope... Listen, will you come
They're
back
the
again?
future. These young people are the future.
They are the future, along with the musicians, of course.
They are, absolutely.
Will you come back into me
I
and
would
have
love
a proper
to,
chat?
definitely,
We'll have
absolutely.
longer time next time. Right, we're going to go and look at this.
at the RT stand at the BT Young Scientist exhibition.
We're having a fantastic day out and we've seen some absolutely incredible projects, so well done everyone.
And we've met some seriously cool people. Science, rock!
Exhibition 2013. It's been, I have to say, 10 years since I've been at this. Shame on me. I've always let the kids come in, but I haven't been down here for a long time. It's very warm. A lot of young people who watch a lot of Republica telly.
And they're looking for Don't You Worry Child, and that comes in from everybody in Ring in Dungarvan.
We have Moke broadcasting in the background right now, live on RT Pulse, working with all the kids down here. Great energy in the room. It's really good fun.
Okay, so that's Example and Kickstart. So there's Moke down at the RDS for the BT Young Scientist and Technology exhibition.
And welcome back. In studio with me is the spectacular, compared to the Pixies, compared to the Frames, I have with me Bennett's versus Matrix. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Great to see all of you in the studio. It's a full house. I think this is the most packed we've ever had in the studio, but it's a good sign. How's everybody? Let's introduce as we go. We have
Lisa Farrell,
Ross Callan, Manus Sullivan, Brian Lockney,
and Martin Cullen.
You're very welcome indeed. Guys, let's talk to Lisa, the only girl in the band. How does it feel?
I actually get asked that question a lot.
Okay, I'll change the question.
How does it feel for the boys doing a band with the girls?
Yeah.
It's grand, like we all get along. I'm like the mother hen, aren't I? Most of the time.
And would you all have equal roles in the band as in writers or musicians, or do you feel like one person in particular is the leader of the group, or are you all just together? Martin, that goes to you.
I feel like I do everything. I feel like I write all the songs. And no, writing wise, we do all have our own roles. And when it comes down to run the band, like we would have our own roles as well. So everyone does pull their weight, in fairness now.
Brilliant. And do you have different tastes in music individually, would you say?
Oh God,
Totally.
Right, if we picked a band, what would your band be that you would say, right?
Mine would be One Republic. I knew it would be my favourite band.
One Republic.
I can't pick a band, I'm just pop punk all over.
Punk.
Tin Lizzy.
Oh, very good. We're going there.
Iron Maiden.
I'd go out with some obscure American bands.
Fantastic. And Lisa?
Metric or the Frames.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. So there's a really eclectic kind of mix going on when it comes to your personal choice as well. So when the process starts, when you get into studio, do you have your songs written in advance, or do you think the creative process starts in the studio itself?
We have, I'd say, about 90% of the song written before we go into the studio. There's always... We're really bad at that, I think. When we get into the studio, we're like, oh, we want to do this and this and this at the very end, and we're like, last minute changes. I think there's a few of them on this on our recent record as well. We kind of got in the last few minutes, we're like, can we just do this real sneakily? Like, they're like, get out.
And did you enjoy doing the Moonshine album? Or we call it EP or album?
EP.
Or EP. Oh, not an album yet, okay.
No.
Any record labels listening at the moment? We could push it to the album stage, couldn't we? So was that fun, guys?
Great.
Yeah, it was great fun.
I think we have a little clip actually. There's something called Fun that you guys sent me. Let's have a
hoping
little
I linked
look
the right
and
video.
see what's going on.
Hey, I'm Brian, the bassist from Bennett vs Matrix, and we're outside our studio here that we rehearse and record in. So I'm going to bring it inside. So in here you'll see our little lounge area here. In there behind the glass door is where we do recording, where we watch our TV. In here you'll find our lovely 4-star bathroom that has urine in it, but we'll just flush that. And come in here.
Wow, guys. I think we had the right video or the wrong video. It's all good.
We're endorsed by Shire's toilet wares. That's why that was there. We're not into toilets or anything weird like that. So no, it's the wrong. I don't know how actually. I sent you a video, but I must have a stupid o'clock. I must have sent it and sent you the wrong one. So.
No, it's never the wrong one. It's the one that probably most people will talk about tomorrow morning.
No,
and then remember, Bennett versus Matrix. That's their toilet seat you saw tonight. No questions asked. What stays on tour goes on tour, whatever way it works. Listen, guys, tell me more about the songs on your EP. Is there one song in particular you could all say, that's the one, that's the single, that's the one I want to go with?
Not at all.
No, okay. Next question.
There is.
We all have kind of different favourites on the tracks.
So they're all good, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we can't see any kind of faults in anyone or anyone that stands out across compared to the others. They're all just kind of on par with each other.
Brilliant. Well, listen, what song are you going to play tonight? I'd love to hear a live song. Can we do one?
Yeah, we're going to play, it's actually a new enough song that we've only done. It's called Geraldine Street.
I like it already.
Yeah.
Work away.
Ready?
Guys, let me introduce you first. It's Bennett versus Matrix live on Fireside Sound. Here we go.
Two-way street of compromise. It's never smooth, it's a bumpy ride. Down Geraldine Street. In this circus show you can see a window cleaner in front of me. How can I ever compare to that? Don't try to speed now, take it slower now. We can end where we wanna be, taking a ride onto Geraldine Street. With every move we're tumbling back, we never seem to stay on track. Down Geraldine Street. With me and you, it's a war till the end. Talking shop and taking bets. We never know who we're gonna meet. So don't try to speed now. Take it slower now. We can end where we wanna be, taking a ride onto Geraldine Street. Don't try to speed now. Take it slower now. We can end where we wanna be, taking a ride onto Geraldine Street.
This is the part you raise your hand up. This is the part you lose your hand out. This is the part that makes your country. This is the part you raise your hand up. This is the part you lose your hand out. This is the part that makes your country.
Don't try to speed now. Take it slower now. We can end where we wanna be, taking a ride onto Geraldine Street. Don't try to
Raise your hand now.
take it
Raise your hand now.
We can end
Raise your
where we
hand
wanna
now.
be, taking a ride onto Geraldine Street.
Wow. Listen, guys, thank you so much. It's the end of the show. I wish I could hear more. Where are you playing next? Where can we see you
We're
next?
actually in Beggy's in Navan.
Becky's in Navan.
Next
Okay,
Thursday.
guys, go and see it. It's time to wind it up here. But listen, tune in to Fireside Sounds next week. You never know who's going to be on. Bye. Say bye, guys.
Bye.